Ladies and gentlemen, we are back at it again. Your favorite country cousin, your best friend, it's Kimar coming to you all the way live. Welcome to Chapter 8. Ladies and gentlemen, we are moving and grooving with this mental shampoo series, this audio experience plus more. Thank y'all for rocking with the young king as I fix my crown. Listen, chapter 7, we talked about the importance of friendships. We talked about our tribes, our communities, the ups and downs of friendships, this, that, and the third, platonic, right? But this chapter, this specific chapter, chapter 8, we're going to name this one The Mystery of Love, okay? We're going to talk a little bit about a romance. Romance. We all seek to love and be loved in return. All right. There's a lot of things that I learned from past relationships and even situationships, to be quite frank. Casual dating, courtships, and things of that nature. And this is a season. We getting into the winter months. I got my flannel on, got my beanie on. It's nice and cool outside, right? This is a season where a lot of us tend to seek out, if you will, different partners, to keep us warm in that midnight hour, right? Young ladies, they want their booty to be rubbed. Just keep it a buck, Guys, we want somebody to spoon in the midnight hour. You know what I'm saying? We look for a nice young lady to, accompany us in our beds. But I had a chance to reach out to some of my friends, and I wanted to get some of their thoughts on this thing that we call love, okay? I would like to actually share the actual definition of love. This is what the dictionary said. It said that love is a strong affection for another arising out of kinship or personal ties, an affinity for the next person, right? An infatuation of sorts. A lot of times people confuse infatuation with love. Total difference there. Y'all know I like to spit Bible verses. Y'all know I like to spit music. The musical piece that I want to share with y'all today, Jamie Foxx been in the game musically long before he dropped Blame It on the Alcohol and these other things that you heard from him like in the 2010 era, right? He had some stuff drop in the 90s, and one of my personal favorite records from him is actually called Infatuation. And the chorus is like, is this just infatuation or is it real love? That can go in today's time when it comes to, are we working towards a relationship for real? Or is this just a situationship? Now, I have been told in the past that I'm a little bit too honest, or I can be brutally honest. And it's like, yo, do you want me to be upfront and honest with you with what on where my head is with what this is? Or do you want me to fluff it up and make you feel good and then be hurt in the process, or be hurt toward the end? I'd rather be upfront now so that nothing is expected later. Does that make sense? Now, granted, I perceive myself to be husband material, okay? I admire the union of marriage. I admire, when I see older couples still doing PDA, public displays of affection. Some of them I actually stop and talk to them like, yo, how long y'all been married? How long y'all been together? And it's like, okay, we've been married for 25 plus years, 30 plus years. It's even one couple that was like at 38 to 40 year range of marriage, and of course, like any other relationship, right? You go through shit. Right? We people, we're human. We have emotions. Our emotions are up and down. And when we're dealing with other people, you're dealing with people with different backgrounds, right? You grew up different. Your family dynamic may be different. It's just a whole bunch of things to put into play. Now, my strategy in terms of dating now, let me see your baby picture. That might be petty, but I'm keeping it a book. Let me see your baby picture. Let me see what your mama look like. What's the health history of your family? All of that comes into play because you don't want, let me speak for me. I am a pretty healthy guy. I got on my health kick after learning more of my family history in terms of health. Like even on the Family Tree podcast, it was one of the listeners who shared that just because Just because it runs in your family doesn't mean it has to stay in your family. So I work hard, you know what I mean, to maintain a pretty healthy lifestyle. And I want my partner, I want her to, you know, prioritize her health as well. You know what I'm saying? But you're not only getting involved with or marrying your significant other, you're also becoming intertwined with their family, their past traumas, and everything else in between. So we have to be considerate of all of that. Even the past women that I've dated, you know, I only have a bachelor's degree. I majored in history, African American studies. I'm an educator. Now, I teach now, but certain women, a certain caliber of women that I've dated in the past, scientists, dentists, you know, PhDs, all of these different women, a lot of them was making more money than me at the time, but it's like, here's the thing that I can appreciate about me as a man and what I know that I can bring to the damn table. You know what I mean? I can build a table as I pat myself on the back, right? Like, I know that I'm not like any other guy. I know that once I date a young lady, I know that they may not experience what I was able to give them. You dig what I'm saying? On all levels, you know, because I really want to know who they are. Like, if I'm just casually dating, talking to different young ladies, whatever the case, that's cool. But if I'm dating one specific person, I try to keep it that one specific young lady, for the simple fact that I really want to know, you know, who you are for real, right? I remember one of the best compliments I ever received from a young lady I dated in the past. She said, she randomly like thanked me one night, right? And I was like, what's that for? And she said, because usually I try to keep away what I do with my occupation and career. I keep that tucked because I don't want anybody or I don't want these guys to be intimidated by the things that I do with my career. It's like, nah, you know, that's your thing. I support you in whatever. I don't care about how much money you make. And another thing about me, I'm not trying to be impressive. I'm really just being Kimar Kane. And that's what a lot of women can appreciate. Like, just be yourself, kings. Come on, kings. Just be yourself. Like, women appreciate that when you are truly and authentically yourself. All right. But the compliment that she gave me, she said that, thank you for allowing me to be myself. It's like, damn, it's a lot of women that actually feel like that too. You know, a lot of women feel like they can't be fully themselves because they feel like the man will just use and abuse them in different ways. And, you know, they feel like that they'll scare them off and they'll be intimidated by what the woman is doing. Because granted, women, and more specifically black women, are out here killing the game as far as careers and businesses. Forbes, who we look at for business in a lot of ways, they're showing like, hey, these black women out here, you know, they are the fastest growing businesses. You know what I'm saying? So, but a lot of guys, they're really laxed and they've gotten real comfortable. We've gotten real comfortable over the years. And it's like, yo, let's get our head back in the game, young kings. Let's get our head back in the game. But here's one thing I want to share. Shout out to Ashley F.G. Norwood, my beautiful and gorgeous co-host of The Family Tree podcast. Season 1, people are still talking about it. We love and appreciate each and every one of you. Season 2 soon come, so y'all be on the lookout for that. But here I asked her, you know, if you wouldn't mind sharing, you know, some experiences of love over time in your dating experience, relationship experience. And she actually mentioned, she said, she posed a question really. She was like, cuffing season, what's that? Right? What is cuffing season? She said, why do we feel more inclined to have a person during this season? And it's because, you know, the colder months, right? Seasonal depression is real. You know, a lot of people do seek to have, even if it's just a short-term situation, they seek to have somebody in these months because these months can get lonely, or at least your mind can trick you to believe that you're lonely. You're not. Let me just put that out there. You're not lonely, and you don't need somebody to come and like fill a void that you're looking to avoid. You know what I'm saying? Like, confront yourself with whatever it is that you're going through in this season. You don't need an extra body to keep you warm. Keep yourself warm. But it does have a mental, it does have a negative impact in a lot of ways because you're always being dependent on a person. You should never be, even if you're married, you shouldn't be solely dependent on your person, right? Interdependency, you know what I'm saying? Where you still have a sense of independence, yet, you can depend on your person when necessary. Don't solely lean all your weight on your person because you don't know what your person, your significant other, your spouse, whatever the case may be, you don't know what they may be going through. All right. So I thought that was dope that Ashley would put that like that. And quite frankly, I've been guilty myself of, let me see what girl I can hit up. You know what I'm saying? During these months, kick it with during the wintertime, Netflix and chill, the popular thing to do, right? Let me see who I can hit up, who gonna pull up, and at least let this last through the springtime. Like, I've been guilty of that myself. I put myself on Front Street. We all have done it, or we are all doing it. Whatever stage either you're in it or you're exiting out of it, or you may be experiencing it, walking into it, right? We all deal with that. Again, we're human. This is the human experience, right? I do want to share another one too. Shout out to my friend Marsha out there in Atlanta. That's my player partner there. She also shared this right here. First, I'm going to share the scripture because this is what she's actually referring to. We've all heard this scripture. It's 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 4, and it kind of goes into even more, but I'm just going to read verse 4. It says that love is patient and kind. Love is not jealous or envy. It does not boast, and it isn't proud. It keeps no record of wrong, right? Unconditional love. Like, there's a popular talk that Lauryn Hill did back in the day where she said, we don't truly know love, right? Because once somebody stops stimulating us, we stop fooling with them. Like, is that conditional or unconditional love? We all talk about wanting a unconditional type love, but a lot of us love based on the condition. Let's keep it a buck. Let's keep it a stack, right? The only people that can really love you unconditionally, like for real, is your creator. It's God and your parents. You know what I mean? No matter what the relationship is like your parents is the only ones physically on this earth that can really like love you unconditionally, kind of a guarantee, if you will, right? But this is what Marsha said. She said that the love is patient. Love is kind verse is a verse that everyone knows, but practicing it is a different beast. Ugh. Love is patient, but are you really patient? While they are getting on your nerves, are you really kind? Like, really break down each part of that verse because it's truly the totality and the moving parts of love. Love is a constant collaboration of actions, right? You got to show that you love your person. You got to be there. Like, there's a record by Robert Glasper featuring Chrisette Michele and Music Soul Child, right? And it's called Oh Yeah. And the chorus goes that I've learned in this life that you've got to be with someone you like, right? If you've got what it takes to go the distance, let's go, right? Beauty is overrated. This is Music Soul Child's part. He says that I think beauty's overrated, right? But affection, I'm butchering the lyrics right now. But if you can have both beauty and have that affection, that's a beautiful combination, right? And that makes the love more easy. Of course, we want people that actually are easy on the eyes, but like, what goes beyond the surface level? Like, how does that person think? I've seen a post about, women raising kids, right? Talking to guys saying, hey, it's not your woman's looks that's going to raise your kids. It's her mindset and her heart, That's why it's important. Like when I said I want to see baby pictures, I want to see what your mama look like, I want to see your family dynamic. Because all of that is gonna come into play when it comes to, if y'all are blessed to have some kids, that's how it's gonna flow into your kid for real, And I've even heard from some married couples too. This is going on a whole nother level, but I thought about it, so I gotta say it. I've heard that marriage isn't even that hard, right? I heard that the more challenging part, if you will, is that when you have kids, that kind of makes it harder because now it's not just the two of you. You have a person or young people that have half of you all's DNA that you have a huge responsibility for to raise them, to financially aid them, right? To emotionally support them. All of these things. So now you're split, right? I know my ex and I had a conversation and she didn't necessarily want to have kids. And then it came out that, after an emotional come to Jesus type meeting, I'm like, what's really the deal? And she mentioned that, I'm afraid that if we are to have children, that some of your attention may be taken off of me, right? And I can appreciate that honesty in which she shared, but in the same breath, I'll try my best to still love on you the same, but things are going to be different because now we have to split time with this kid. You know what I mean? But that's what I've heard, though. I don't have any kids. I had one on the way at one point, but unfortunately, the young lady had a miscarriage. So that's that. God saw fit like, hey, my son, it ain't time yet. So you got to kind of take it on the chin and just, keep going through life, still express an attitude of gratitude, and keep building on yourself. Because a lot of us look for other people to build up. A lot of us look for other people to build us up versus build ourselves up when everything that we need is on the inside. The love language, have you ever practiced? I just thought about this. Have you ever practiced your own love languages on yourself? Whew, spicy. Because here's what I've learned too. Self-love is the very first romance. If you don't love yourself, if you're not filling up your own cup, why are you expecting other people to pull up with a picture of an abundance of love in a picture to pour into you? What you're really doing is asking that person to drain themselves to hydrate you. Thank you, God. That's not even in my notes. Man, what you're doing, like real life, you're draining one person to get hydrated, but it is your responsibility to learn how you want to be loved. And then when you're presented with people that parade into your life and you choose wisely as to who you want to be involved in your life, you can actually express how you would like to be loved, right? Versus just trusting or relying on someone's way on how they love to love on you, and you still be, kind of miserable in a sense, right? Yeah, man. Okay. So I got another one. This is from my player partner, Jermaine Green, out there in Atlanta as well. My brother, man, we did some podcasts back in the day when I was still living in Atlanta. People still listen to some of the episodes that we've done. When me and that brother get on the mic, we talk deep. My guy, I look forward to the day when we can record some more episodes. All right. And shout out to you, man. I saw that you got back into podcasting too. So love and respect. My bro JG said this. He said, one thing that I truly learned about love is it can't flourish when we're operating from a selfish place. Love is a service that always requires you to give. Always. You have to give your best efforts to bringing out the best in your mate. You have to give in on certain things that you've been stubborn on. You have to give up some of the things you took pleasure in for the sake of evolving and being able to love more effectively. That's heavy. Learning to love effectively. You have to give your time, your energy, your thoughts, your life to the service. It's not give and take, it's give. And that's the work. Learning how to commit to the service of love. Man, shout out to JG. Learning how to commit to the service of love. Oh man, love is a verb. Love is action, as we talked about briefly before. Love is a service. You know, a lot of people equate spending in X amount of dollars to like what we're doing when we talk about these material things and when money is involved with love. Is it really love? Like, again, that's an infatuation. That's a lust. That's a condition. Like, you're making this thing conditional, right? I will only love you if you're continuously stimulating me and spending money on me. I'm not out here trying to buy your love. I want to earn and grow, with you in love in the process. And I want to actually like you for real. You dig what I'm saying? Like, let's serve one another. Let's do that. All right. Dr. Miles Monroe, one of my favorite speakers, he talks about, when you give a woman a thing, she multiplies that thing. Like, when I remember going back to my ex, one of my exes, I remember when I said that I was going to slow down on listening to rap music because it was affecting me in a way in that season of my life. It's like, I need to cut out the rap music for a minute because I need to focus, right? And I remember a couple of weeks later, we had went to the store, and I forgot what exactly was playing, but I had the music blasting, and I turned it down when she got in. And I thought you said that you was going to cut out the rap music. Like, women will remind you, of things that you said. So men, you have to be careful about what you're pouring into your women because they will hold you accountable and they will help to multiply things. You give a woman a house, she'll make it a home. You give her a seed, she'll give you a baby. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just how this life thing works. Now, there's a big thing, too, going around in terms of, masculine and feminine energy. It is very difficult to date because it is said, don't quote me on this, and don't bash me for this. I'm just saying what's been said, okay? It's been said that a lot of women are resting in their masculine energy. And that is why a lot of men have been, quote unquote, dating outside of their race. And that's why a lot of women have been single. Like, I was talking to one of my friends not too long ago, and she had mentioned, you guys have it easy. She was like, no matter how old you get, you'll always be desirable in some way. But there's a clock on women, biological clocks, age clocks, all of these things in terms of having a baby and finding a life partner. You know what I mean? And I know one of my influences in terms of marriage, seeing that my father was married multiple times, seeing that there are quite a few failed marriages in my family, it made me want to look at all of this different. And it was like my dating experiences went more so like, all right, I don't want to be like this. I don't want to be like that. Let me approach things different. And when you focus on, when you focus on not trying to be a certain thing because of the experiences that your family has had with love or relationships or marriage, trying to avoid it, sometimes you often fall in it without knowing until you like out of it, right? And speaking of that, my friend Joy out there in Atlanta also, she shared some stuff with me, and she actually had some screenshots that she refers back to when she has these conversations on love. And she said that if you are confused about the truth of someone, mentally put them on mute and watch their actions as if you were watching a silent movie. What do their actions say? Because your actions will tell on you no matter what your mouth says, And my intentions were there, but my actions sometimes will speak otherwise, right? Another screenshot that she shared with me. This one is kind of long, so bear with me. It was a guy that she screenshotted, and she resonated with it. This brother was divorced. Long story short, after that divorce, he said that he looks forward to getting married again. Here it goes. I've been through hell and back with mine. It burned to the ground. I never blame marriage for mistakes of humans. That's big. Marriage is beautiful. The issue is people bring their view of what marriage is into a union and don't discuss it with each other. Marriage is like another country with its own regulations on how to operate it properly. But we bring our own rules from single and dating land. Also, people are already married to their goals, careers, and desires. Whew. Too many treat their actual partners like side pieces. Facts. I was blessed to hold on to my thoughts freshly after my divorce. That moment when both marriages and singleness are fresh in the mind. With that, though my marriage burned horribly to the ground at its worst, I prefer marriage to being single any day. I learn from every relationship. I don't blame marriage. I see human error. I don't blame all women. I give each individual back the baggages they gave me. Oh, that's heavy. That gave me a healthier perspective. As I was surrounded by flames, enemies, and devils, and before the ink dried on the divorce, I made a shocking statement to a few people, quote unquote, I can't wait to get married again. That statement freaked everyone out. I'm a husband by nature, and I'm attracted to a woman who is a wife by nature. There are plenty of people who are excellent future husbands and wives. Yo, I've heard a record, and it said that one man can make one woman hate all men. And vice versa. We can have such horrible experiences with the people that we've dated over the years that we put their face on new bodies. We put their ways on the new person's ways. And we are triggered. Like, one thing we have to learn to do, man, is learn how to manage what triggers us. Because music soul, I be referring to a lot of music. I might make a music podcast one day. But Music Soul Child says that in a song called Previous Cats, he says, I'm not to blame for the pain that was caused by previous cats. All of that happened before me. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of women, I see this more so with women, not saying that men don't do it, but I see it more so with women. They will be with guys for so long, and then they are ready to jump right back into somebody else. And some women, and I've heard this myself, if you want to get over a guy, get under a new one. And it's like, yo, ladies, like, no, that's how you get more emotionally fucked up. Like, just keeping it a buck. Like, don't dig a deeper hole for yourself. Give yourself time to get over, this situation. Right? And then when you do get back in the dating world, be very intentional. Whether if it's a situationship or you're actually looking to pursue a thing. Like, back to the dating experiences that I've had, I'm very upfront. If this is a situation or if we are actually looking to build into a relationship, I'm very honest within that. Right now, I'm open to actually, build with someone. But in the same breath, there's no rush, because I have learned that you can't be so intentional that you miss out on a good friendship that could eventually lead to a great relationship, right? So be mindful of that, because just like us men, if we're so intentional, you can scare a woman off. Women can also be so aggressive and wanting to be with somebody that it runs the guy away. And I've been on both ends of the spectrum. I've been the guy to kind of push a woman away because it's like, hey, I'm being intentional with this thing. Like, What's the word? What we doing? Whatever, whatever. And I've been on the end where the woman is like, Kimar, this is where I'm at, this, that, and the third, and it'll make me kind of fade into the background. So the best thing that we can do, all right, the past chapter we talked about, your tribe, your friends, your community, okay? What I want you to do is continue to build your friendship with whomever, right? And over time, if it grows into that, because here's my theory. I believe wholeheartedly, right, that we already know who our life partner may be. I feel like I know who the young lady is that I'm going to marry. I just don't know, when that spark might happen. And not saying, I hope y'all get what I'm saying. I'm not saying that it's that I know exactly who it is. I'm just saying I feel like I know her already. Like I've met her already. Like we've already hung out or been within the same group of people. I feel like we've been in passing. And at some point when things click, it'll click in the right moment. I hope that makes sense. But, a lot of us look for new people or whatever the case may be. But, the people that I've seen last the longest, they've known each other for years. They didn't necessarily have an attraction in the beginning, but over time that attraction came, and they are happily in relationships and in marriages and have beautiful families, right? So I want folks to be intentional. I think that's all the notes I have within my text messages. Let me double check. Yeah. Yes, that's it. But love is patient. Love is kind. It's something that we all want and desire, but don't rush to be in a love that is in a fantasy world, right? Because when we do that, that's when we mess ourselves up emotionally, and then we put that on the next possible relationship, right? None of us want to grow old by ourselves. A lot of women tend to marry guys that they know they shouldn't marry, but because they don't want to be lonely, right? They just get married just for the sake of getting married, and they say that they got a person, right? Some people, they don't even want the relationship or the marriage. They just want a kid. So, like a lot of women plan these things out. A lot of guys shoot the club up, get their baby. They plan these things out. Let's be better people for ourselves first, all right? When we do that, then we can be a better person toward our life partner, all right? I hope that I was able to give a lot of great insight on the mystery of love, because love is a mystery, but is it really? Love is patient. Love is kind. It is not boast. It is not proud. It is not jealous. It isn't envious. Any of those things. It doesn't keep no record of wrongs, right? But sounds simple, but acting it out is very challenging, and I get that. But in the same breath, like I said before, self-love is the very first romance. Fill your own pitcher up to pour into yourself, and then go into a situation or a relationship knowing that you have value to add, and who knows, that just might be your happily ever after. It's Kimar Kane coming to you all the way live, your favorite country cousin, your favorite Mississippian, and your best friend. You just tuned into chapter 8, y'all, of Mental Shampoo and Audio Experience, plus more. 2 more chapters to go, chapter 9 and 10, my friend. Thank y'all for continuously listening, to show your support and give me feedback. I do not take it lightly. Very humbled by all the responses that I've been getting. See y'all on the next trip.